welcome to my channel. This reading is going to be for the collective masculine. So the energy that I felt when I was tuning into the masculine was that, well, I think that some of you may be working a lot with the archetype of the vampire. So let me describe those vibes a little bit so that you can recognize if it's inside of you, if it's coming through you. First of all, the vampire is an energy that doesn't die, right? And so it talks about something, it talks about an energy that is very much afraid of the ego death. You know, it's afraid of aging. It's afraid of time passing. It may feel that it doesn't have much time. And so it's kind of like a rushed energy, an energy that needs to hurry, needs to move quickly. And it has a very, very hard time to sit still and to be still, and also to humble itself. And so the way that you can feel if this archetype is coming up within you is that you might feel a lot of desire, you know, like thirst, like you're just, you just want something, and it may be very difficult to balance that desire and that want out with the energy of peace and just surrender and letting go. And so that's what I'm feeling for the masculine, that there might be quite a lot of this fire energy, which is kind of interesting. If you look at the last reading I did for the collective, fire came through there. So that's what I'm feeling initially. I want to pull a card from the Cecchioli Oracle as well to see what we can get for the masculine. Any advice here for the masculine collective? What do we need to know? Okay, underneath the deck was this card. It is a woman with a skirt made from blossoms, and there's a lot of birds being attracted to her. Wow, and underneath the deck was this card, so let me show it to you. Upright. I'm hearing the song about Humpty Dumpty. I feel like actually I love that it's in reverse, because I feel like the masculine is I feel like maybe the masculine is releasing some kind of a fear around being broken somehow. Yeah, and I feel like this is actually something that can really help you to balance out that vampire energy, because that vampire energy has kind of like a hard time, like I said, being still. It has a very hard time to humble itself, you know, to be small, to feel like a zero, to feel like, you know, a wounded one. It doesn't want to admit to that. But we all have this energy within us, you know, because the wounded one, the zero, the nothingness, that is the part of us that didn't get the light that it deserved as children. And so at this point in time, that is our biggest potential. You know what I mean? It's like our deepest feelings of powerlessness is linked to that archetype of the egg. You know, it's like something that has not yet been receiving the light that it needed to emerge and to grow and to blossom. So actually, I feel like for some of you, you're starting to realize this dichotomy. You're starting to understand your feelings better here. And you're starting to realize that the antidote to the vampire, you know, this like running and running and running in the same loop, not running from the ego death, just keep fueling yourself on desire. The antidote to that is the willingness to stand by, to not fear so much this inner egg, you know, your inner immaturity, your powerlessness. those feelings, to not fear them so much. This is a huge step actually for the masculines. Yeah, and behind this woman here was this card, which is really cool because cold, I don't know, cool. Why does that come through? Why is it cold? I don't understand. Yeah, something was pushed out in the cold as well, I think. So maybe this is like you pushed a part of yourself out in the cold. I feel for some of you, something you didn't want to acknowledge about yourself because it kind of didn't live up to your vampire self, you know, the desire-driven self, the ageless self. But now I feel like you're opening the door to it, even though it might seem weird and different and like it belongs to a different realm. But like I said, it's like this part of you is probably not going to be present here on earth at this point in time. You're probably not going to see representation around you when it comes to this new side of you that you're awakening. Maybe you're the one that's meant to bring forth this, you know, maybe you are the one that's meant to be the representation of this new way of living here on earth. So that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling for many of the masculines, you're finding your strength now. You're starting to see things differently. You're starting to support yourself. And yeah, you're starting to not be so afraid of the way that you're different or being different or choosing differently. And I feel like that is going to open actually quite a lot of doors for you. I'm hearing towards your dreams. And I'm feeling just like love. Like being loved, feeling like you're loved. Underneath the deck was the Four of Cups. So you see that that's definitely not feeling like you're loved. That's kind of like separating the selves from the people that you actually dream of, or like separating yourself from the experiences that you actually want to have because you don't believe in it. You don't believe in love. You didn't believe in love or something like that. I'm getting for some of you. But I feel like that's now changing because it's like you're starting to see these different selves within you. So instead of just being driven by their feelings, it's like you're starting to see their faces and you're like, oh, it's you, vampire self, or like, oh, it's you, little egg. Instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to feel powerless. It's like, oh, it's just the egg, you know? Or like the vampire, or with the vampire, it's just like not getting lost in that thirst anymore, because straight away you notice like, vampires coming out again. That's kind of funny. There's the card. Is it wanting to come out? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. Judgment. Look at this card. It's so cool. I think it's my favorite. And underneath the deck, the Emperor in reverse. Wow, wow, wow. That is so cool. So yeah, I feel like many of you, you're moving into a time where it's like you're not afraid of not being like the man anymore. You're opening your heart. This is definitely like heart opening, you know, opening up some new doors. And I think like actually this is probably going to be quite connected to your abundance. That's what I'm feeling, because it's like the little rabbit here that has the key to this heart. And so it's like, I feel it's connected also to the egg, you know, something about spring as well. These are spring energies. You know, when you start to flow, when the ice starts to melt, when you just start to trust your guidance and your inspiration, and your innocent desires, not like the greedy thirsty desires, but it's more like the innocent desires. It's almost like when you start to trust that, it's the path to opening the heart to blossoming here, and also like attracting a lot of these birds, which I mean, it can talk about information, it can talk about like also I feel like this may also somehow be related to abundance, creating abundance or money or feeling useful, being useful, things like that. It feels very positive, but it's almost like when you follow those inspirations, that innocence within you, yeah, things are gonna start shifting. You're letting yourself be more free, even though people are gonna see that you're weird. Somehow it's something like that. People are gonna see that you're weird, but also it's like, because it's coming from a place of innocence, they're also just gonna be like, they're so cute though. It's almost like they are gonna be slightly infected by that innocence as well, because it's like they're just like, you can't not like them in a way. That's what I'm feeling, this energy of like, it's something that's very difficult not to like, even though it might not be that like it's not cool in that kind of a thing. Like, I feel like this is not an energy that's like, oh, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a shit. It's not like that, the old version of cool. It's just like someone that is just like very innocent and cute and just like wanting to live life. But I kind of just feel like that's what the collective is actually also wanting to move into. People, I feel like people are, it's like, it feels like a lot of people are wanting to start living now, but like truly living on a deep level, like living, being satisfied with their life. And so it feels like a lot of people are gonna be wanting to just throw off their masks, and I'm hearing be children again. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I love it. So definitely I feel also in regards to love, I definitely feel that innocence coming out. It's like, I feel like if you're starting a relationship now, or if you're meeting someone, or thinking about like, also this could definitely be thinking about reuniting with someone, particularly with these two cards. You know, it's like, instead of mourning a loss, it's like you're realizing that you may want to reignite something. What I'm feeling for that is that it's going to be driven by this innocence. Like, that's what will make it abundant. To, again, not be so much maybe in the vampire energy of just like thirstiness and desire, but much more this like, it's like making the inner children. That's what I'm feeling, like this timeline that I'm picking up on right here. It's all about like protecting the new life. You know, it's about protecting the inner child, the parts of us that it weren't allowed to live, kind of. Before it was like shooed away, but now is the time for it to, it's like walk-in, almost like feeling like having a walk-in, like parts of you that weren't manifest, they weren't allowed to be manifest, now they're coming back in, and they're like, yeah, they're freaky and cool and weird, but because they're so innocent and so pure, it's just like people are gonna see that and they won't be afraid. They will just be like, it's time. That's what I'm feeling. People are just gonna feel like the vibe of like, yeah, it's time to be real now. Wow, I love it because it's beautiful. 7 of Wands coming out, and the Hanged Man. Oh yeah, and the Hermit. some of you, you're afraid of being punished. Like some of you are not ready maybe yet to step into this, because it's like you still have trauma. This could be from your present life, it could be from past lives, you know, it can be karma in your bloodline, that there is a history even on your land, you know, in your land, that there is a history of it's like witch hunters, you know, demonizing that which is different. Maybe that's still kind of like a part of your collective, that people are quite far away from their heart awakening, and so instead of trying to understand, they would rather win and kind of like change other people. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that feeling of religion, that you go on these crusades to convince people that what you think is right, rather than just enjoying the diversity and trying to understand why other people are different, you know. It's like letting people be who they are, and trying to understand it, trying to see the value of it, instead of just trying to make everyone the same. So I feel for some of you, you might be living in environments or in countries even where where it's still quite a lot of that, like always trying to win and trying to convince and trying to like push and force people to be different in a way, to believe in the right thing, kind of. That makes it difficult. That makes it difficult, more difficult, I feel, to step into this innocence, because the child might not even be protected, honestly, is what I'm feeling in those lands, on those lands at this time. You know, there might... It's like if people are very far away from their heart awakening, this type of innocence might trigger them actually quite a lot. That's what I'm getting. So for some of you, you might realize that you actually can't be your true self within a specific environment, maybe even in a specific land. So maybe you're deciding to leave, actually, is what I'm getting for some of you. You're deciding to like go to a different place, that is where people are more, where their hearts are more open, they're more willing to understand. It's like a place that has let go more of this like need to win and to be this little man on a high horse. You know what I mean? I feel like you're seeking people that don't have huge egos. You know, people that find it more important to try to understand and to kind of expand their own mind, rather than just push their mind onto others, you know, try to make other people copy their mind, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's there are different timelines, I feel, very much based on the land where you may live, like the country where you may live, the people that are around you. So let's see if we can get some specific advice for that. This is something that's been coming through so much, honestly. And also 2023 is the year of Cancer, which can talk about movement. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that, like if those are one of the big themes actually of 2023, people moving, like coming to different countries where they can live more innocently, or maybe even the other way around as well, that people that they are very driven by their vampire self and they are just thirsting, you know, maybe they are driven to go to places where there are much less heart opening, you know. It's almost like they are traveling back in time to denser timelines. So yeah, anything else here for the masculine? I'm actually hearing this is it, so okay. One card coming out here. This is it. Six of Swords. The rabbit again. The rabbit on a boat this time. And then underneath the deck was the Knight of Swords. What is this about? Wow, yeah. I'm kind of feeling like it's now or never actually with this card when I'm looking here, because it's like a coffin with the feminine. And she's, in this case, she's either resting, she's sleeping, or she's dead. She has gone through a transformation, I feel. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes through in the reading for the feminine. But what I feel for the feminine, and this also came through a little bit in that overview of 2023, it's like the feminine, or the people that chose kind of like death by earth, you know, transformation by earth, by going into the earth. These people, it's almost like they are now re-emerging. That's what I'm feeling. It's like they are rising now from that death and from those dense timelines of going back and reconnecting. And so now, if this is about the relationship particularly, then it feels like now is the time to reconnect. But this, I feel, can also happen within yourself, that now is the time to reconnect with your inner feminine if you have felt disconnected. Now might be the time to reconnect also to your roots for some of you, particularly if you're currently living in a place where there's not a lot of heart opening and not a lot of innocence, and you have roots that could take you to different places, then now might also be the time to connect to that. I feel like there might be different messages here, but the 6 is very much talking about it's a number of the heart. So if this is for you, you will feel it. Like, you will be guided. You will feel it if you listen to your feminine. Like, if you listen to your inner feminine spirit, you will know what is right for you. That's what I'm feeling, because I don't know, with this, I could be taking like a plane, like going to a different place. That's what I'm feeling. And I'm hearing, interestingly, while you still can. So I don't know exactly what that means. But it's something about this is it. Like that we're reaching, almost like maybe the gates are closing, maybe because the why am I stuttering? The gates are closing maybe because the feminine is now moving into a different timeline. It's almost like, and I'm hearing where you won't be able to catch her. So there's something about like that she's reaching a more protected state. Protected by abundance, maybe protected by innocence. Yeah, I feel like that's something. It's like the feminine is it's like she's rebirthing herself. Also, it's almost like some of the feminines are rebirthing again, like I spoke about in the beginning. It's like old versions of humanity, old selves within humanity that never got to see the light, but that were kind of trapped inside the earth, inside the root system, you know, shadow. It's shadow aspects that were just demonized, but really they held a lot of potential for humanity. They actually held a lot of abundance. And so some feminines, they have been going back kind of in time to, I'm hearing, rectify and restore and rejuvenate these aspects of the collective consciousness. And now I feel like it's almost like the feminine is starting to give birth to these old selves. And this feels very much to be like driven by innocence and by flow. And so it's almost like if the masculine doesn't choose this timeline as well, then the gate is going to be closed. He's not going to be able to reach to reach the feminine at a later time, because it's like the difference is going to be in vibration. It's going to be too large. That's what I'm getting. But you never know. That's what I'm getting now. So I wouldn't necessarily think that this is written in stone. There are always ways, you know, there are always ways. But that's just what I'm getting now. Let's pull one more. It's a little bit mysterious. Anything else for the masculine? Four of Swords. Yeah, I was hearing this like something about like he's coming home, he's coming back, things like that. Four of Swords and the King of Swords. So I feel like again, it's also something about coming home to yourself, like, and this came through also in that overview of 2023, but I feel like it's very much about the masculine, that is almost like they have been it's almost like collectively the collective masculine has been kind of desperate to play this old archetype of the big man, who is really just a very small man on a high horse. You know what I mean? It's like the old model of masculinity. Those people may have seen themselves as like so significant and so important and so glorious, but if you look at that archetype today, we see that a lot of the time they weren't actually that great. You know what I mean? They weren't actually that big, or their hearts weren't that open. You know, they were kind of just living in their own mind, kind of. And so I feel like that's something that a lot of masculines are going to start to realize now, how kind of twisted and broken the old archetype of the masculine has been. And I definitely feel here, moving into the King of Swords, it's like, and there's something about that, I keep feeling that there's definitely something about moving. I don't know why, but it's like moving. There's some kind of movement that leads to stepping into a new version of the masculine. So of course we all have masculine energy within ourselves, but I feel like there's some kind of movement, some kind of flow, again driven by innocence, that leads us into actually stepping into this new version of the big man. And I feel like, and this time it's actually gonna be a big man. It's actually someone that has a big heart, you know, an open heart. And they are big because they're not afraid of being small. That's what I'm feeling. Like it's like leaving the archetype of the vampire behind. No longer being afraid of being humiliated or humbled if it is just. But I also feel here, but to do that, the karma of being unrightfully punished must also be cleared. So it's kind of a little bit of a complex web here, that there's a lot of, in a sense, shifting and moving parts within the collective consciousness here. And this might also be kind of heavily intertwined again, I'm getting, with your specific country. So the path to this resurrection is what I'm hearing, may be different for all of you. And I'm hearing, and that's the point, because it's something about like, this is what's gonna build our new self up. You know, it's something about learning how to maneuver and create that path for ourselves. And again, I'm hearing we're not meant to be copycats anymore. It's like we're meant to have this feeling of trusting ourselves, like this deep feeling of, I'm going to be able to find my way. You know, I'm going to be able to figure out what I need to do. So yeah, I'm going to end it there. I feel that, yeah, I'm just going to end it there, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.